Hi there, everyone. Welcome to my show. I'm Andrew Fazekas, the Night Sky Guy, here to share whatever you can see in the night sky this week. I hope you had a great Halloween weekend. I hope you had some clear skies, and if you didn't, well, maybe you'll get lucky this week because there's always something to see in the night sky. I've got the chat room open. Share with me where you're watching from. I love to see everyone sharing their location. I've got Jackie in Chicago, Nanita in Vancouver, Richard from the UK, Teresa from Minnesota. Oh my gosh, Tony in Nova Scotia, Chris again in the UK, Christelle, of course, in Marseille, France. Welcome everybody. Yeah, we had a really interesting Halloween weekend. Did you guys get to see that beautiful full moon or the near full moon? Perhaps you were clouded out on Saturday at the peak moment, the best where it was totally full, but maybe Sunday you saw some of the near full moon. And tonight, again, there will be some more, of course, of that full moon. It was considered a blue moon, October 31st. That means that this moon was basically the second full moon in the calendar month. So in October, early October, the first few days of October, we experienced our first full moon. And then we finished off the month, October 31st, with a second full moon. And then by definition, or at least one of the definitions of the blue moon that's the most popular, is that this is considered a blue moon, the second full moon that was on October 31st. It really was a beautiful sight. I got to see it through my windows here in Montreal. We had clear skies, stepped outside for a bit, very, very chilly weather here, but it's nice. It was really nice to see that silvery orb of the moon kind of shining its ghostly glow in the overnight period. So this week is going to be interesting because we're transitioning. We're in November. We're heading into the middle of the fall season here in the Northern Hemisphere, spring season in the Southern Hemisphere. It's kind of a transition time with different kinds of things to see. So without further ado, let's see if I can get ourselves into that sky view. This is what greets you in the early evening, soon after sunset. Monday, we're recording this on Monday, November 2nd. But of course, whether you're watching today on Monday or perhaps Wednesday or whatever this week, this is pretty much the setup that you'll see this first week of November. And what I want you to see is on the right-hand side, you've got that beautiful pairing of Saturn and Jupiter, right? So this is going to be particularly interesting because those two planets are slowly converging. They're getting closer and closer. And I want you to guys Watch these two planets do that over the course of entire November and most of December. Now, the highlight will be in December when Saturn and Jupiter will appear to the naked eye practically to converge. This is like the best, what we call a conjunction in astronomy. When these two planets appear to come together very close, have a close encounter. And this is pretty much the peak event of the year, I would say, at least one of them for sure. It's on my list as being the top of these two planets coming together. So that's going to be on December 21st. But between now and December 21st, you'll see Saturn and Jupiter getting closer and closer, inching together ever closer over the many weeks until leading up to December 21st, when they're the absolute closest. So do keep an eye on Saturn and Jupiter. So they're pinning down the southwest skies in the constellation Sagittarius. That's where all that action is happening for you. Then if we move over to the eastern sky, you'll see there pinning down the eastern sky is planet Mars. Mars was in opposition, meaning that it was opposite exactly in the sky from where the sun is. And so it rises soon after darkness falls, wherever you are around the world. And by the way, you guys are everywhere. There's Carol's mentioning she liked the blue moon. So hi, Andrew. The blue moon was awesome. I took a photo with an iPhone 6 of the moon last night, and I shared it as my story. Yeah, and do share it on my sites as well, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch. I'd love to hear from you and see your photo work, your photography of the sky, definitely, and share it with our fellow stargazing friends around the world. So that is going to be really interesting. Diana is also mentioning something about her favorite event in November. My top is the Leonid meteor shower in mid-November, but we will follow Saturday, Jupiter too. Also, Milky Way is observable. Definitely, that's right. So Leonid's heads up is a meteor shower, and that is kind of the best meteor shower of November, but there is more before that. That's peaking around the 17th, 18th of November, but before then, we will have other things to see as well. So what I want you to notice is I'm going to push this sky a little bit later at night so it gets a little bit darker and higher up, and you'll see where the moon is lying. So here we are. We're on Monday, and November 2nd, and where the moon is tonight. So as soon as darkness falls, perhaps darkness is already there where you are watching, look for the moon, the waning gibbous moon, meaning that it's gibbous means that it's most of the disk of the moon is illuminated, but not quite the entire one. More than half of it is. And this is what we call gibbous, but it's waning, meaning it's getting smaller. The disk, less and less of the disk of the moon is being illuminated from day to day, since we peaked with full disk brightness with the full moon on Saturday. It's getting a smaller size. It'll become a crescent by the end of the week. But before that, you see this near full moon positioned next to an orange star. We've talked about this before. It's one of the brilliant stars of the late fall winter, and we get a little preview of this in the east. So rising late at night. So, after 9, 10 o'clock at night, you'll see the near full moon Monday, November 2nd, near the star Aldebaran. Aldebaran represents the red eye of the bull constellation, Taurus, as you can see here. And the moon is smack dab in the middle of Taurus constellation. And right next door to it, you'll see shining, competing with the moon, is an orange star, and it's called Aldebaran. Aldebaran is a bright, kind of what we consider a red giant star, meaning that it's near the end of its life, and it's a very interesting star. It's 66 light years away, so that means that it's taken, when you're looking at this orange star near the moon tonight in Taurus, the light left Aldebaran 66 years ago. And that's what you're able to see with your naked eye. I mean, this is not something you need a telescope for or binoculars. I mean, if you have binoculars, definitely bring it out. binoculars are going to help you to really bring out a lot of resolution when you're looking at this area of the sky. And I'll tell you why. Because near the moon, and the moon is going to be, the glare of the moon obviously is going to be really big, like they're very strong, the glare, but you'll still see that orange star next to it. And that orange star is, like I said, is part of the constellation Taurus, but it also pins down part of a V pattern of stars. That's a V that's kind of on its side for us here in the northern hemisphere. And you guys can see it in the southern hemisphere too, where right next to the moon. It'll be in different orientation in your sky, but it'll still be visible next to the moon, definitely. And if you have binoculars, this is where they come in handy, because binoculars will kind of penetrate through that glare that the moon has and allows you to bring out those fainter stars that make up that V pattern of stars. As you can see, this V pattern of stars. And they're all part of this group of stars that is known as the Hyades cluster. You can see this circle here where the V pattern is. I'll zoom out here and you can see more of a naked eye view. And that V shape really represents what's called the Hyades cluster, and it's one of the closest star clusters to Earth. And so it's kind of neat that the moon is guiding you to this location on Monday night. So do check that out. Now, the moon is going to do some more stuff for you. So if you watch, point some more things. If we change the days and we move later into the week, so we've got Tuesday, the moon is still in Taurus, but is near where the horns of the bull are. Kind of embedded right in between the two horns is where the moon will be on Tuesday. Wednesday, the moon is off much lower. I'm going to kind of set the hours later at night. So watch this. We're now I'm kind of local time around 11 o'clock practically. And what I want you to see on Thursday is the magical time. So check this out. We're going to go into Thursday night and look where the moon is now. So the moon is now positioned, has left behind. I'm going to zoom out so you see where Aldebaran is up here. Okay, that's where Aldebaran is. It's left it and it's moved down, slid down the sky. And late at night, it's going to be joining, this is Thursday, November 5th. It will be joining the Gemini twin constellation, the Gemini constellation, and its two bright stars, Castor and Pollux. And the moon will form a beautiful triangular formation. It's a beautiful triangle that the moon will form with Castor and Pollux. Now, Castor is a star that's about 53 light years away, while Pollux is only 34 light years away. So these two stars are very close in brightness. But what does it tell us? That they're close in brightness, but they're different in their distance. Well, it tells us that one of the stars is more powerful than the other star, doesn't it? Because if they're at a different distance, right? One's Castor is 53 light years away and Pollux is 34 light years away. It means that Castor, and I should say Castor, despite being farther away than Pollux, is shining brighter intrinsically within itself. The actual brightness of the star is brighter. It's glowing brighter, and it could compete with its neighbor Pollux in the sky. So very interesting. And I want you to also notice, I'm going to put this challenge out to you guys. For Castor and Pollux, these two stars on Thursday, or any other night, tonight as well, if you want to, you can find them rising in the east late at night, the Gemini twin stars. Can you see the difference in color between the two? Because you can see clearly that Castor, if we look at the stars, you can see clearly that Castor over here is much more white in color, very stark white, and then Pollux is this very distinctly yellow toned star. So try to see that. I want you guys to take a look at that. Thursday, November 5th is when the moon does that in the east, rising in the east. Now, check this out. We're going to move one more night forward onto Friday night, November 6th. And look what happens. The moon jumps below and forms this really beautiful alignment. An alignment with Castor, Pollux, and the moon on Friday night this week, November 6th. Check that out. It's a beautiful sight with those two stars and the moon together. Now, if you're in a different part of the world, a different latitude than where I am, I'm at 45 degrees north of the equator, halfway between the pole star and the equator here in Montreal, Canada. But if you're below the equator, from my point of view, in the southern hemisphere, this will be in a different orientation, definitely for you. But this is pretty much what you will see in the evening skies, is this lineup of these three bright objects in the sky. Really beautiful. And then look off to the right there, you have another star called Procyon in the constellation Canis Minor, the small dog. Now, these are all preview of constellations that will dominate the winter sky for us in the northern hemisphere in the early evening, like around 5, 6 o'clock supper time. Once darkness is totally upon us, this is what will greet us in the earlier evening, higher up in the sky. But if you stay up late around midnight, these are what can actually be seen, getting a preview now at this point in early November of those constellations. And you can see right here that most famous Orion constellation will be also very evident to the right of the moon, both on Thursday and Friday, very clearly. So this is something that's waiting for you this week. And then there's some other things as well. Just very quickly, I wanted to say, as the moon departs our skies, the evening skies, I should say, it leaves behind dark skies, right? So for us, at this later this week, we're talking about the November 7th and 8th, Saturday and Sunday. You won't have to contend with the moon in the evening skies. It means that the skies are dark and for night vision. And you don't have to deal with the glare of the moon blocking out a lot of the faint stars. So this 7th and 8th will be a wonderful time to do what's called deep sky observing. Deep sky means it's outside of the solar system type of observing that you'll do. So you'll be looking for objects that are way beyond the solar system. So these are a lot of fun. I can see here a lot of people talking about woohoo. Teresa says Gemini. I guess you love Gemini. Maybe perhaps your horoscope signs is a Gemini, I guess. So here is Sirius Salamander says, you are responsible for me getting a 10-inch Dobsonian. Oh my. I hope you're having fun with that. A 10-inch Dobsonian telescope, meaning for those of you that maybe are new to the hobby, 10 inches in a telescope term means the main mirror, the primary mirror that gathers the light from the heavens is 10 inches across. That's what's referred to by a 10-inch Dobsonian. And that's a fairly good-sized telescope. It's going to give you years of amazing views there. Sirius Salamander, you're serious about astronomy. There's no doubt about it. I wish you clear skies with your new telescope. That is awesome. So getting back to the skies, there's one more thing I wanted to show here regarding deep sky observing, which is really, really neat. So I'm going to set it to earlier evening. This is, again, Saturday, Sunday, November 7th or 8th. We're going to be looking at, say, around 8 o'clock at night. You'll be looking towards the south, high in the southern skies. You'll see a pattern of stars that are in the shape of a square. This is called the Great Square of Pegasus right here. I'm going to zoom in even more. There we go. You see that? Great Square of Pegasus. This is high in the sky in the south around mid-evening. So once you finish your supper, it's nice and dark. On Saturday and Sunday, November 7th, 8th, there's no moon in the sky in the early evening. It's perfect to do deep sky observing. So Here, check this out. So you've got this beautiful square here marking the chest of Pegasus, the flying horse. This is the Great Square of Pegasus. Nothing fancy there, no major deep sky sights there for us. But if we follow along this bottom star, so this star is the bottom of the square, sort of this tip, the one that's facing down towards the ground, and you follow along this line of stars. There's another star. So you start off with this star called Markov. Then you go to this star called Hohmann. Then you go to this star over here. Now this is the head of Pegasus. Now watch this. This is what we call star hopping. I'm teaching you a technique, a very basic technique of stargazing where you hop from one star to the next. And so you start off at the tip here of the square and you go to the next star, then you go to the next brightest star, then you turn left right here to the tip of the nose of Pegasus. Pegasus, the flying horse. And if you look very carefully with binoculars, now this is a binocular kind of thing, and you have dark enough skies, you'll see something really remarkable just off the tip of the flying horse, Pegasus. And that's the last star here is marked by, it's called Enif. And just off the nose of the flying horse is this remarkable object called M15 or Messier 15. We zoom in closer and closer, and what it is what's called a globular cluster. Now, my friends out there, this is a magnificent object. It's one of the most amazing deep sky targets for backyard sky watchers in the fall, November skies. And this represents one of the most beautiful types of objects that are out there. I'm going to show you what it would look like up close. This is a photograph of this object. It's spectacular. It's what we call a globular cluster. There are hundreds of these objects scattered on the outskirts of the Milky Way galaxy. And this particular one is about 36,000 light years away. It means it takes light 36,000 years to reach your eye when you're looking at this through binoculars. Now, this isn't quite the view you'll get through binoculars. This is something that, like my friend there, the Sirius salamander with his 10-inch Dobsonian would get a fantastic view of. But even with binoculars, you can get a fairly simple view, simplified view like that of it. If you look at it like this, it'll look like a faint fuzzy blob through binoculars. And this is kind of the view. I'll show you where the view is, something like that. That is what you can expect. Something like that is a little faint fuzzy blob. Now, I know this is a lot. I'm going to post screenshots of my star charts in the comments on my timeline on Facebook and YouTube. So do pay attention to that. You'll have all of this there. But we're star hopping to an object 36,000 light years away called M15, a globular cluster. It spans 250 light years across. It contains over, get this, it contains over, 500,000 stars. 500,000 stars all bunched up together in a ball configuration. To me, and I've said this before to you guys, when you look at a globular cluster, it looks like a pile of sugar on a black tablecloth, doesn't it? If you would pile all those sugar crystals in a big heaping pile, this is from above, this is what you would see, wouldn't it? All those sugar crystals scattered about, but there's a concentration at the center. But imagine in this case, that sugar pile is round. It's a completely round in a ball. And they are like, it's exactly what Linda says. They're like diamonds on black velvet. Very well put. I like that. Very poetic. It is. It's one of the most beautiful sights, I think, that we can get in the night sky. And it's all for the taking if you are up for that challenge. And let's not be blind. There's a very bright orange star right next to this, this big square, the great square of Pegasus, Mars. That orange, brilliant orange, is the brightest star-like object in this part of the sky, in the southern sky, late at night or early evening, whichever. As soon as darkness falls, you'll see Mars, and Mars will be a fantastic guidepost. You can use Mars to guide you to the great square of Pegasus. It'll really be a very easy fairly easy thing to spot, even if you live in suburban locations. So where you have a lot of, a fair amount of light pollution, using Mars is a great way to find these stars that make the Great Square of Pegasus. Now, a stargazing tip I have for you folks out there. Night vision, your eyes to get adapted to the darkness, is very important when we're looking for deep sky things, when we're trying to do star hopping, because the stars in the Great Square of Pegasus, these stars over here that you're seeing at the center of the screen, these that represent the square, are not the brightest stars in the sky. They're bright enough for the naked eye to see and from suburbs of cities, but you have to make sure that your eyes get adapted to darkness, right? So what I'm saying is that spend about 10 to 20 minutes, better if it's even 20 minutes, to let your eyes adapt to the darkness before you start hunting around for these challenges that I'm putting out. That's my biggest tip. And you'll notice that you'll see a lot more stars. I mean, if you've been stargazing, you know that already. You spend a few more moments, 10, 20, 30 minutes outside, and you're seeing more and more stars out there. And that's really the key here in being able to do successful star hopping. One of the big things is letting your eyes get adapted to the darkness. So don't forget that. Night vision, 15 to 30 minutes being outside, and then you'll be all set to do really good star hopping. Now, there is one more thing I want to say. There is a meteor shower peaking this week. It's called the Northern, I'm going to put this into here. It's called the Northern Taurids. The Northern Taurids. And let's see if we can have a peek at that. We're going to show on our planetarium software. So rising in Taurus, just like the name suggests, Taurids appear to come from the Taurus constellation. That's where the meteors appear to radiate out from. So Wednesday night, November 4th, into Thursday early morning, November 5th, is going to be when the Northern Taurid meteor shower peaks. Now, the Northern Taurids aren't very spectacular. Expect somewhere around 10 shooting stars per hour visible late at night Wednesday into the early morning Thursday night period. Now, of course, you will have to contend with that moon, but the moon will set. And late at night, you'll be able to see a little bit more of those meteors. Now, remember that the moon will rise. Here you can see on Sunday. This is, I've got to put it back to Thursday. Hold on. Let me go here. Thursday, there we go. So you see where the moon is on Thursday with the meteor shower. The sweet spot in being able to see the Taurids, I would say, in my opinion, I would say as soon as darkness falls until about, I would say about 9 or 10 o'clock local time. That is going to be the sweet spot. Why? Because the moon will rise. Now, if you want to watch it when the Taurids absolutely peak, which is after midnight to around 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. Thursday morning, then make sure you turn your back to the moon, right? That's going to be the key, a big key in being able to see as many meteors as you can. So once the moon is up, you really don't want your eyes to be blinded by the moon glare. So turn around 180 degrees and just face away from the moon. So your back's to the moon and you maintain that dark adapted vision and you'll see as many meteors as you can. Now, they'll be racing across the sky, but if you trace them individually, they appear to be coming from the constellation Taurus the Bull. So that is where they magically seem to be coming from, as Earth is basically plowing through a cloud of debris left behind by a comet called Encke. And so this is material shed from that comet. Now, what's very interesting about the Taurids is that they're considered to have slightly larger stones that hit the atmosphere of the Earth. Remember, that's what causes a shooting star or meteor. It's basically a small, usually dust or sand grain size, I should say, little particles from space that burn up very high in the upper atmosphere at incredible speeds. We're talking 150, 200,000 kilometers per hour. But with the Taurids, there's some that are stones that are bigger, maybe the size of like a marble or a golf ball, maybe even bigger like a tennis ball, well, those will produce what are known as fireballs. So stay tuned to being able to see bright meteors, perhaps, if you're lucky, with the Taurid meteor shower. So we've done a lot of stuff. This week is again packed with amazing things. This is something that you will love to see. Of course, Saturn and Jupiter coming close together, Mars guiding you to Pegasus, the great square of Pegasus, looking for M15, that beautiful globular cluster, which, by the way, sometimes is referred to as the fly on the nose of Pegasus, the horse, the flying horse, right? So that is something that'll be really neat. The meteor shower, northern Taurids, watching the moon join the Gemini twins, and also earlier, of course, the Aldebaran, the red eye of the bull. There's tons of stuff. So I'll be posting all these sky charts in my timeline on my Facebook channel. If you haven't subscribed yet to my YouTube channel, please do share this video, give it a thumbs up on whatever platform you're watching, whether Facebook or YouTube. You don't want to miss my next video. I'll be talking more about all of these events and posting all kinds of neat things. So if you're the first time here, what are you waiting for? Press that, make sure you're notified as well, and you'll never miss any of my sky watching videos. And there'll be lots of things happening in the coming weeks, I promise you. So with that, I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for spending a few moments of your precious time out of your day today. I hope you can do some sky watching. It's great doing it alone. It's great doing it with family and friends, and it brings peace and joy. And I tell you, these days with all the stuff going around with the pandemic and lockdowns and elections and all kinds, no matter where you are in the world, there's a lot of things going on, and we all need a pressure relief from it. And sky watching can help you do that. Even if it's just for 10, 15 minutes, it'll make you feel a lot better. So thank you so much. Hope you get to do some sky watching. And of course, I wish all of you guys, from my heart to you, clear skies. Until next time, bye-bye.